Wolverine racing back. So the plan is to hopefully be at the track in 2 weeks in Gulfport at the last King of the Coast race of the season, to be our first race since Hurricane Ida. If that's going to take place, I've got some serious work to do. I have to install a new ignition coil, new plugs. I've already gone through the carburetor. Need to change out the front shocks, take those QA ones out and put those Avcos back in so we can test them. Also, we'll need to, oh yeah, don't mind the shop, it's a mess right now. We'll need to mount these new PBRs, and they're actually going to go on those wheels, which those are some 28-inch PBRs that have, I think, 5 runs on them. So, probably sell them, give somebody a deal on them. Get those mounted on there so we can put them on there, even though these probably only have 25 or so runs on them. I'm going to swap them out so we can start off fresh. Save those for backup. And I'm going to clean this shop up because it's a mess. It is a freaking mess. Other than that, the car's pretty much ready to go. Got a little bit of work to do in the trailer. Everything's set up. I do need to get a nitrous bottle filled before we go. So we will do all that and hopefully be at Gulfport Dragway in 2 weeks. Going some rounds. I know Timmy's excited to go. Excited to get back to racing. I am too. So we're going to try it out and see what the old Wolverine's got left in her. So guys, I got a question for y'all. Do you or don't you index your plugs on your race motors? So if you see that line on that plug, that's a mark I made on the plug to the back side of the electrode. It actually runs all the way down the plug, right with the back side of the electrode, so that my electrode is pointing basically at the valve and the piston. Actually at the piston top, not at the valve. It's pointing away from the valve. It's called indexing your plugs. I do it on all my race motors. It's supposed to do a couple things for you. One, it keeps the flame in a better position to ignite the fuel mixture. It's also supposed to, on high compression motors, make it more difficult for the dome of the piston to come into contact with the electrode and close that gap up on the plug, which I've seen happen a bunch of times on race motors. So I index mine. There's people that don't believe in it. There's people that believe in it. Leave some comments for me. Let me know if you do it or if you don't do it and why. I'm not telling anybody this is what they should do or the best way they should do it. It's just what I do. And I've done it since the beginning. So another question for y'all. So this car, for whatever reason, I've had a couple of different motors in it, and it's always just been they've chewed up spark plugs and spit them out. I mean, it seems like every race we got to put a new set of plugs in it. Now, get this out the way. I do jet my stuff a little bit fat. There's no doubt about it. I lean on the fat side with all my carburetors, and I probably need to come away from that a little bit. But I've also tried different ignition systems, different ignition boxes, and several different coils. So started out using that Blaster 2, went up to this Blaster coil right here, and now I'm moving to this coil. If anybody's got any experience with their motors, chewing up and spitting out spark plugs, let me know. Let me know if you tried any of these coils. I really thought this coil would help a lot. It may be just a little bit easier on plugs than the original Blaster 2, but not much better. I'm going to move to this coil for a couple of reasons. One of them being with the hope that it doesn't foul the plugs as bad. I mean, you can run all day on a set of plugs, all weekend on a set of plugs, but it's almost like, the next time you go to the track, first time down the track, bop, 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 put a set of plugs in, it goes away. Tried all kinds of plugs to Autolate racing plugs, champion plugs, running NGKs right now. So I've covered that spectrum. Car runs in gasoline, C12, VP. I just bought a new carburetor through a company I'll mention later, but they were under the impression that I have my carburetor too overjetted, too fat. So I am going to lean the car out a little bit for this next time we go racing and see if that helps any. But the plugs I just took out of the motor are wasted. I mean wasted. Now, granted, it's basically just been some idle and some drive time around the neighborhood, just running the motor just to keep the condensate out of it and all that, but they are wasted. So we're putting a fresh set in to hopefully go racing in 2 weeks if the weather cooperates. But let me know if you guys have run these coils and what kind of luck you had with them. Thanks. Yep, big shout out to the Old Man's Garage YouTube channel. I got this hoodie from them. Love that channel. Those guys do a bunch of work, man. Always working on race cars. Him and his sons. I appreciate them making videos and being able to watch them. Thank y'all.